Automation Nation, Automation Nation, Automation Nation, around the nation. Automation Nation, Automation Nation, Automation Nation, around the nation, around the nation, around the nation. Welcome to the Automation Nation podcast, the show for business leaders, tech aficionados, and those who are just simply curious about where technology and business are going. Automation Nation is your gateway to understanding automation, AI, and the future of business. Don't get left behind. Tune in now and subscribe for more. What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? We are back for another Automation Nation conversation. I got a great guest. I always have great guests because all my guests have so much insight. And you can learn something from someone. You can learn something new from someone. So I recommend you take notes, you lock in. And if it's something that piques your interest, you have a question, ask the question, because there's no dumb question. The only dumb question is the question you didn't ask that you should have asked and you really needed the answer to. Ain't that right, David?
Absolutely agree.
David Wachs, welcome to the Automation Nation podcast. We're here for another Automation Nation conversation. I'm going to read a little bit of your bio here from LinkedIn. David is a serial entrepreneur. His latest venture, Handwritten, is bringing back the lost art of letter writing through scalable robot-based solutions that write your notes in pen. Very interesting, because that's a big deal. That's a huge deal. It adds a level of personalization to it, and I'm sure we're going to get to that. He developed this as a platform that Handwritten lets you send notes from your CRM system, such as Salesforce, the website, apps, and through custom integration. Now, it's used by major mailboxes, eCommerce giants, nonprofits, and professionals. And ladies and gentlemen, there is something very powerful about handwriting and communicating through handwritten letters. And so David's going to share why he started this, the benefits he's seen from this, and then also how you can plug in and get connected. David, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me, Rob. Pleasure to be here.
The pleasure is mine. It is all mine. And I want to open this up, David. We ask all of our guests this one question, and that is, if you could automate one thing in your personal life, what would it be?
I think I'd have to say better spam control, just better control of my inbox. I'd love to be able to automate that or send that out to an assistant somewhere to do that, but I feel like something would get lost. I'm a bit of a control freak, and I don't want to lose control, but at the same time, I need somebody to manage it. It's just too much for me. So it's pretty simple. It should be able to be handled by an admin, and I can't do it.
I get it, man. It's a lot. That spam, it builds up, man.
Yeah, 100%.
David, man, why don't you share with our audience and guests and all those who are listening? Oh, by the way, again, wherever you're listening to this from or watching this, because we're live right now on LinkedIn, YouTube, and Twitter X, excuse me. And you can find this on all the podcast platforms. You want to connect with David, just go ahead and go down to the description and you can find him. All right. Dave, why don't you share with us, man, what inspired you to create Handwritten? And this is very interesting.
Yeah, so great question. So prior to Handwritten, I spent 10 years running a text messaging company called Cellit. We started in the real estate space, so sending automated text messages for realtors. So you want info on a house, there was no such thing as Zillow or there was no such thing as Zillow. So you drive by the house, you'd see an empty flyer box, and there'd be no way to get information. So what we did was we allowed you to text in. You'd see a little sign hanging from the real estate sign. You text in, get info on the house. realtor would get your lead. We pivoted pretty quickly, and then we just started doing general purpose marketing texts that were opt-in only. So if you want to get texts from Abercrombie and Fitch, Toys R Us, Sam's Club, Office Max, Blue Man Group, Auto Trader, all the rest, you would use our service to do that. So you'd see a little thing, it would say text Auto Trader to 30364. You would do that, and then you get texts that were relevant to you. After about 8 years, we were doing about 1 million messages a day for some of those brands, and sold the company, and then had to figure out, okay, what am I going to do next? And I thought, gee, I was kind of part of the problem, because now everybody was getting 1 million texts a day on top of the 135 emails they get a day, and on top of Slack. I mean, it really wasn't a problem back then in 2014, but Slack and Twitter and all the rest now. So I thought there has to be a way to kind of break through this din of electronic communication and really get back to basics. So I started sending actual handwritten notes to all my clients and employees, thanking them for working with me at the last company. Quickly, my hand cramped. I ran out of stamps, fill in the blank, all the typical stuff. And I thought there had to be a better way. So that's why I created Handwritten, to help people automate sending handwritten notes, to make it easy or easier than sending an email. And I think that's what we've done here at Handwritten.
That's awesome, man. It's interesting. So 1 million text messages a day?
Yeah, for Abercrombie and Fitch, we were doing over 1 million a day.
It's so interesting how, so you were on the side of mass communication, and now you're on the side of clear communication.
Correct. Yeah, I've been in messaging for 20 years, but just two different sides of the coin. So it went from fast and quickly deleted to slow and kept, basically.
I like that. That's a good transition. It's like from a caterpillar to a butterfly kind of thing, David.
Absolutely.
So how easy is this? How do businesses integrate this into their CRM systems? I think that's phenomenal.
Yeah, so for CRM, we integrate directly with Salesforce. We've spent a lot of money on that. And so you can send notes one-off in Salesforce, or also through Salesforce Flows or Process Builder. It's all just built into that. If you're looking to do a different CRM, we do have a plugin for HubSpot. We use Pipedrive here, and we haven't been able to figure that one out yet. So we just use Zapier. So we plug into Zapier, Make.com, Pabbly Connect, N8N. I don't know if that's pronounced Nation or what. That's the open source one. So we plug into all those low code, no code solutions for automation. And then we also obviously have a full RESTful API that people can use. So, automation is really the gold standard for us. We want you sending notes, but we really want you doing it in an automated fashion. In addition to those platforms, we're in some industry specifics, such as car dealership DMS systems, which are dealer management systems, nonprofit donor management systems, and Shopify. We have a plugin directly to Shopify as well.
Well, what industry would you say is benefiting the most, or using the service the most that you could see so far?
Right now, it's all over the map. We have a ton of realtors sending, 20 messages a month. We have a lot of nonprofits that send tens of thousands of notes a month. And then we have car dealerships, which are a big one for us. And they're, sending in an automated way after every purchase of a car, they send a handwritten note.
That's a good one. What's the technology behind this robot-based handwriting solution, David?
Yeah, so we have everything is built here, and it used to be about building the robot itself, which it still is. We have 175 robots. Each robot holds a real pen. They're custom programmed, custom designed, laser cut, 3D printed, machined parts. So that was a big part of it, and making sure we have the absolute best writing solution, the best robot. But now it's not only just about the best robot, it's about the best QA system, the fastest stuffing systems. So it's really a factory floor if you were to come to Handwritten. And then on top of that, we run our own printing press. So you as an automator can pass through an image, and automatically design a card. So, a flat or a folded card, an A2 or an A7 card. And then we will print that card out, write on that card, stamp it, and mail it. And now we can also, for those automators out there, we can include unique QR codes and then attach webhooks back from those QR codes.
Wow.
So you'll know exactly who, or not who, but which recipient note was scanned. So if I send Rob a note and Rob's significant other scans it, it'll come through as Rob. But at least you'll have a general idea of who's interacting with your handwritten notes.
Yeah, that's good, man. And I think that I'm gonna step out there. This is a hypothesis of mine right now. I would think that the open rate will be higher too. I want to talk
100%.
about that. Why don't you share some of those statistics? That data is powerful.
Yeah, so open rate is about 300% higher than print. So 3 times the open rate of print. It's just the benefit of having a handwritten envelope. And then we're seeing with some car dealerships, unfortunately, most of the data is kind of anecdotal, but car dealerships, we see a 27 times greater response to the offer than a print offer. 27. Wow. And what we do is obviously more expensive than print because, all the steps it goes through. We print it, we write it, we stamp it, we mail it, we handwrite the envelope, we have to match card to envelope, all that stuff. There's a lot of steps to this. But even with all those steps involved, our clients are seeing about a 7 times greater ROI compared to print. On coupon redemptions, we see it's not uncommon for our clients to see a 15% coupon redemption rate, which is substantially higher than most coupons they send out, whether emailed or printed. And then it also has the benefit of raising loyalty, lift, increasing referrals, and driving overall share of wallet. So there's really a lot of benefits. Just to kind of give you a couple examples here, we have a snack box company that uses us to send out office snacks. And if they screw up your snack and they need to resend it to you, or maybe they forgot to send it to you, or they sent you the wrong snacks, or it was damaged, whatever it might be, they'll send you a follow-up box of snacks to your office with some additional swag in it and a handwritten note apologizing for the error. And what they found was those clients that had the bad experience followed by the win back actually have a higher lifetime value than clients that never were screwed up with in the first place. So what they ended up doing was screwing up with all clients, having all clients go through the win back and try to raise all boats that way. So it's very interesting.
Very interesting.
Yeah. We have another client, a small client, a piano tuner in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
And they have a Zapier automation for every time they tune your piano, it automatically sends you a handwritten note thanking you for the opportunity to tune your piano. He only needs to go in your house once a year. Pianos just don't need to be tuned more than that. But a year later, when he goes into your house, he often sees that handwritten note standing up on the piano. So not only was it opened, not only was it read, but it was put on display in the most, I call it the fancy room, the room that your parents never let you walk in when you were a kid, on the most expensive piece of furniture in the house. They put it on display there. Nobody would ever take a text message and put it on display, print it out, put it on display. Nobody's going to print out an email and stick it to the piano, but a handwritten note, they do that. So you really can't buy this real estate any other way. It's very unique.
Very unique. Now, there's pros and cons to everything here. So what were some of those cons that getting started? What were some of those pushbacks and some of the issues you were dealing with as you were developing this product?
Yeah, so building a robot was a lot harder than I thought. Feeding paper was a lot harder than I thought. And scaling, it's very different to send, we have some competitors out there, and if you call them up, the CEO will answer the phone, so it's really like one guy and a couple robots running around the office. It's very different when you're trying to fulfill a client's orders for 10,000 or 20,000 notes at a time. You really need to have systems in place to handle that type of scale and to do it effectively and accurately. So really scaling is a real problem. Additionally, there's this thing, to get into businessy speak, there's this thing called the BCG matrix, which mean if you kind of break a quadrant down into 4 sections, and you say, in the lower left of that quadrant are are existing clients you're selling existing products to. That's the easiest thing. And then on the further to the side, it's new clients you're selling existing products to, also fairly easy. But what we're doing is really selling new clients, because we have no clients, new products, right? We're selling them a service that maybe they're not used to, and that's the most difficult. So that's hard too. And then finally, getting our clients to integrate. If we're talking to a small business, they could integrate us in a day. But if you talk to a large corporation, you say install our Salesforce plugin. First one, you're going to have to go through a security review and pass SOC 2 and all that stuff. Step 2, you're going to get in queue on a Jira ticket list that might be a year long just to get a silly thing installed that takes 5 minutes. So dealing with those friction issues, that's certainly been a pain point. So it kind of runs the gamut from both the technical hurdles of creating a good robot, scaling the robots, to getting people to use it. I mean, it's just running a business is hard, as you know. So.
Oh yeah, hard and fun. Like I said, we got those pros and we have those cons. So those were the cons.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about some of those pros. You already shared some about some of those breakthroughs. Let's share a few more pros, because I want to kind of roll into what are the benefits you're seeing from this. We have the data, we have some of the testimonies and use cases, but now from the horse's mouth. Sorry to call you a horse, David, but from the horse's mouth, let's share some more pros.
I've been called worse. So pros would be, everybody gets 135 emails a day. Do you want to be stuck in that pile of 135? Or do you want to be in that pile of 3 handwritten notes a month? Or both? Obviously, you want to be in both. So we allow you to do that. We allow you to build a stronger relationship with your client, or your clients to build stronger relationships with their clients. If you visit our website, handwrytten.com, and it's handwrytten.com, and you go to the upper right under resources, you can download the consumer outreach survey. And we surveyed 2,000 consumers, blind. We used a third party called Pollfish to do it. And we asked them a number of questions like, how do you want to be communicated with? What forms of communication really do you think are personal, et cetera? And what we found is most consumers do not feel appreciated by brands. What would make them feel appreciated? If they do feel appreciated by a brand, what are they going to do? And the answer to that is they will buy more, refer more, buy more frequently, all the things you want. And then what would be the number one way of getting brands to appreciate you is send them a handwritten note saying thank you.
Really?
And wow. And it is statistically accurate information. We had a statistician do it. Yeah. You can find that information at handwrytten.com. So there's a lot of good use cases for this type of technology.
Yeah, absolutely.
You use it just to take stuff off your plate. If you've got a list of people you want to send birthday notes to, we have a birthday automation tool, or an anniversary automation tool. All that's built into the platform.
Wow, that is awesome, man. And I love data. For me, data is king. Data is king, because it proves it. It takes the thinking out of it. It allows you to see what's actually happening. Now I want to get your insight, on the benefit of automation, David, because you've been on the tech side, you've been on the handwritten side, you've been on the business side. I want to share with the audience, what's the benefit of implementing automation to your processes, and then what has been the benefit that you have seen for yourself and your businesses?
It's funny. Every now and again, and they finally stopped sharing it, but I don't know. What's your automation? Do you have a platform of choice that you use?
Honestly, see, I don't really have one. I know that Zapier is great, but we kind of integrate everything. Really, like an octopus with extra arms. I like anything that makes what I'm trying to do easier, faster, more efficient.
Yeah, 100%. So Zapier actually did a whole case study on us. They came to our office.
Oh.
They on YouTube every now and again it'll still show up, which is frightening to watch a YouTube video and then see your own mug pop up. But yeah, so with Zapier, we've developed a whole lead flow or inbound lead processing system. So if you come to our website and you request samples on, from our system, we'll send you the samples. We'll assign you to a sales rep. We will then notify the sales rep via Teams. We will then automatically push the samples through to Handwritten via our own Zapier Connect. We will then put you in a drip campaign and sign you up for our Handwritten newsletter and all that. So that's all handled by Zapier. When you work with our sales team and you do a prepaid order or something that requires an invoice, they will do that in Pipedrive. They will then move the deal over to Invoiced or whatever, and then it gets sent to the client with an SOW generated through PandaDocs. This is all through Zapier too. Once they sign the PandaDoc, it will then automatically trigger the email, the invoice. So that's all through Zapier. So a lot of these steps we've automated to make everything really easy on our team and allow us to be a lean shop. Automation outside of that is all about the robot. So after a note is written, the robot actually takes a picture of it. It then compares what was written to what was supposed to be written so that, for QA purposes. And then later in the process, it'll get kicked out. But I don't know if that's really what you're talking about. For automotive dealerships, just being able to integrate with their systems, their DMSs, that's quite frankly, they do a lot of like XML dumps or SFTP dumps. We then use make.com. I don't know if you've used Make, but really big proponent of Make. I think it's a great tool. And we use that to process those XML feeds and make sure somebody, that the handwritten notes go to the right spots. So there's a lot of automation that goes into our business. Maybe too much, but yeah. That's kind of what we do. But it really allows us to scale. And like right now, we're implementing this automated envelope stuffer. And quite frankly, one of the issues is during the holidays, we really ramp up on volume. And then we need to bring in people to QA notes, to quality check notes. And those people we bring in aren't going to care. They're just hourly workers there to make their buck. And we need people that care.
Yep.
So having this automated system kind of takes that risk out of it.
That's good. That's good. It takes the risk out. Love it. David, how do you see the future evolving with this personalized communication? How do you see this?
Well, I mean, you're seeing it already with ChatGPT. And we integrate ChatGPT into our platform. So within Handwritten, you can go in and say, write me a custom note to Rob for having me on Automation Nation, and it'll do it for you. But it's not just handwritten notes. It's the front of the card should be personalized. The email you receive after should be personalized. The follow-up timing should be personalized. All of that. And then the modes of communication you get should be personalized. So, do I prefer text or do I prefer email or phone call or handwritten note? Whatever that is, personalization is kind of where we're at. And if you don't personalize, you're out. So, I think even if it's as simple as an email, you want that email. If it's going to get read, if you want it to get read, it has to be hyper personalized. Everybody thinks everything can be automated now, which it can, but at least you're showing you spent some time making a really good automation, personalized versus just following up here, and then your typical corporate blather. To give you a counterpoint, a couple of years ago, I got this FedEx package sent to me. And I didn't know who it was from. And I opened it up and it was this big card, like a big greeting card, but it was thick. And I opened up that greeting card and on the inside was a little video screen. And that video screen just played some corporate blather that I could literally watch for no more than 5 seconds because it was so corporate-y and stupid and everything else. But what it made me do was it made me think a few things. Number one, it was somebody trying to sell me something. If I worked with this company, they were going to make a lot of money off me, like a lot of margin, because this thing they were sending me was very expensive for them to do. It was expensive to ship. They had a FedEx it, so it was $20 just to ship it. And I'm a cheapskate, and I don't like working with people that make a lot of money on me. I want people to make no money on me.
Right.
So that was number one, right?
Mm-hmm.
So then number two was the message was not compelling. I'd have to sit there and watch some stupid video that was clearly just a bunch of stock footage with speaking over it. It didn't hold my attention. I didn't do it. And number three was I thought it was ineffective in that they could have gotten the message point across with a simple, personalized handwritten note. And I'm saying that not because I'm the founder of the largest handwriting company in the world. I'm saying that because it just would. Like, I would have sat there and read the 300 characters that somebody wrote me, or 500 characters that somebody wrote me. But to sit there and watch some drony, stupid video, I was like, nah. And then on top of it, it was bad for the environment, I shipped it back to him so he could recycle it. So, there's just, people get carried away. But what's really important is just returning to your roots and really just trying to focus on who the customer is and how can you appeal to them in a personal way.
I like that. Right. On point. And so the largest handwriting company in the world. That's an interesting.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. That's
to our knowledge. Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't say for sure, but yeah, I mean, it's industry, and I believe we are the largest by a pretty large factor.
And trust me, somebody's going to copy you soon because it's a great idea.
Yeah.
It's a heck of an idea, but you want copiers. You want that. It means you're doing something right.
Right.
David, we're coming in for a landing, man. Give us your best piece of business advice and your favorite quote.
Business advice is if you're going to start a business, the best day to do it is today, because every day it just gets harder and harder. You might not have kids today, tomorrow you will, or you might not be married today, tomorrow you will, and then you'll have more responsibility. You might be married but not have kids, tomorrow you will. You might have kids, but they're not off in college, tomorrow you will, and you'll have more bills to pay. You might have kids in college, but now you have adult aging grandparents to cover. So every single day you have more and more responsibilities. So the best day, the least risky day to start a business is today. The best quote, and I say this on a lot of podcasts, but it's true. When I was in college, I had the opportunity to meet Conan O'Brien. I was on a committee that brought him to our campus. And he told us, this is back when Conan O'Brien was just starting his career. He had just gotten his late night show. And he told us, I don't really have much advice for you. The only advice I have is always get in over your head. And it is the best freaking advice anybody could ever give you. Always get in over your head, because if you don't get in over your head, you're not going to grow. You're not going to risk things. You're not going to shine. So you're just going to be comfy and sit in that cubicle doing what you do every day. So you really got to get in over your head.
I like that. Best time to start a business is now.
100%.
Best time to plant a tree was the best time was to plant a tree was 20 years ago.
Second best is today.
Second best is today. Yeah.
And actually, to that point on trees, unrelated, but we take it seriously too. Handwritten goes through a lot of trees. We do a couple million notes a year now. So for every 100 cards we mail, we plant a tree, and it takes a lot more cards than 100 to get to a tree. So we're actually replacing trees at a rate of 27 to 1. Sorry, no, 23 to 1.
David, that's incredible, man. Yeah. That is just that. I mean, honestly, everything you said was fantastic. I'm everything, but that right there for me, just because I'm a nonprofit. I'm a nonprofit guy.
Yeah.
I'm a grassroots kind of person, so I'm always looking at that kind of stuff. That is
a
good
we
move,
started last April, so just a year and some months ago, year and 4 months, and we've planted 30,000 trees. So it's kind of cool that we're helping reforest our own little way. The other thing about it, quite frankly, is a lot of people ask for, especially nonprofits, they want recycled stock. But they also need low price, and recycled stock is very expensive. It's also not the best for the environment, because there's a lot of chemicals that have to be done to that paper to treat it and get it back to usability. So our solution, 100 for every 100 cards we mail, we plant a tree. It's actually more cost effective than doing recycled stock too.
Oh, wow. Yeah. That's incredible, man. That is,
Yeah, I'm proud of it. I'm very proud.
yeah.
We don't talk about it enough. Like it's
I was gonna say, actually, you know, as a marketing guy, that's some good content. I'm not, you might have already started this, but that's some good content to share with people, because all those trees you're planting, 30,000 trees. I mean, what you're doing, that in itself gets people's attention. So a lot of times, what we notice is that you get people's attention on another subject or something that matters to them, and then they're inquiring or more interested in something else that you're doing.
Yeah.
Right? That's kind of how it works. And that would be some good marketing, man. Share that stuff. That's
a good point. Good point.
What's the best way for folks to get in contact with you and share anything want people to know and how they can find you and support you?
Yeah. So again, thank you, Rob, for having me on your show. It's a real pleasure meeting you. You can obviously email me, David@Handwrytten, or LinkedIn. Just look for David Wachs, David W. at Handwritten, and you'll find me. I'm not on X or anything like that. I have nothing important to say and to pontificate or anything like that. So don't look for my bullshit on Twitter, pardon my language, because there's nothing there. But yeah, I mean, if you want info on the company, visit handwritten.com, click the business thing at the top, and you'll get free samples. Or feel free to reach out on LinkedIn.
There you go. David, man, thanks for being on the Automation Nation podcast. And listen, if you're watching this or listening to this, connect with him. And honestly, if you are in the business, if you're in the business of dealing with people, right? If you're dealing with people and you're looking to heighten your retention, I advise you to look into this. David, Thanks for being here, man.
Thanks, man. You be well.
And guys, remember, you don't know what you don't know. So get around folks who know more than you. Automation Nation, Automation Nation, Automation Nation, around the nation. Automation Nation, Automation Nation, Automation.